Floss Tube. This is my first video ever, so I'm gonna be completely nervous, completely terrified, and make a bunch of mistakes, say way too often, and probably look in the wrong spot a lot. So just be nice and it'll be great. We'll have a fun time. I want it to be like, can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? Which always makes me think of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Gilderoy Lockhart. And if you don't get that, you may not get me. But you might, so keep on. I'd love to know. My name is Kimberly Butler. Most people call me Kim, mainly because it's what most people call me. I don't care. I am the third out of 4 children, so pretty much I answered anything, because when your mom gets mad at you, she'll start yelling anything. The dog's name she makes up, anything. But you only know you're in real trouble when the middle name comes out. But I happen to love my middle name, so I don't care. My middle name's Anne, with an E. I love Anne of Green Gables, so I quite love my middle name. Anything else? I'm looking at my dog, my stitching buddy. She's sleeping. She does 99% of the time. Alright, I'm going to start with Know Your Needleworker tag. I have no idea where or how tags started. I am new to Floss Tube since January maybe. I started watching Floss Tube. I joined Stitch Mania before I started watching Floss Tube, so I'm not sure exactly when I started watching Floss Tube, but it went downhill fast. And I watch all the Floss Tube now, so I don't know when or how it started yet, but I know it's out there, and it is a great way to get to know the Floss Tubers that you're watching and know some stuff about them. So first, where do I live? Reno, Nevada, USA. Reno is up north, in the north part of the state of Nevada. For those of you who don't know, Nevada is home to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is in the bottom of the state. Reno is in the top of the state. Reno is closer to Sacramento. It's like 2 hours away from Sacramento, California. We're by Lake Tahoe, California. We're up in the mountains. It snows here. It does get hot, but I mean, it's making the news because it might get to 100 this week. 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is Celsius. If I was smart and thought about it, I would have brought up a calculator and figured it out and told all you use Celsius. But I didn't. So if you care enough, figure it out yourselves. And I don't do well in the heat. I just don't like it. I get uncomfortable. I have been known to carry ice packs with me in my purse for if I get too warm. Anything above 70 degrees, my husband starts complaining. The first thing we did when we bought our house, install an air conditioner. Yeah, we do not like the heat. We are not originally from Reno, Nevada. We moved here for various reasons. I myself have lived all over California, from Southern California near Ontario to Central California, Fresno, to the Bay Area. I worked in Gilroy, and then over in Reno. So, if you know any of those places, you know, I've lived the gamut of places in California. Central California, it can get up to 116 degrees in the summer. It's supposed to get to 108 on Sunday there. I have had stuff melt in my car. When you come out for lunch from your work, come out from work from your lunch break, and your Hawaiian dashboard doll no longer is wearing her skirt because the glue became a liquid again, it got hot. So yeah, we didn't want to live there anymore, so we decided to move to Reno where it's nice and cool. and we do love the snow. It snows a little bit in the winter, and we love it, and it's just right for us. Um, yeah, so we're happy here. What do I do for a living? I am a housewife. I don't get a paycheck, but I am my husband's unofficial secretary. I take care of all the house stuff. Not as hard a job as being a mother, as being a, you know, uh, taking care of kids too. But right now I'm just taking care of all the stuff that has to get taken care of with the house and, my husband and myself and just keeping everything running. So that's what I'm doing there. And cross stitching. Other than that, I'm lucky enough I don't have to work, and so I am not working right now. If I seem distracted, there's like a bug got in here, and I'm like, don't touch me, but I hate bugs. I hate bugs. Which is odd because I majored in archaeology, and I was like, I don't want to be out here digging things with bugs. I'm a weird person. Do I have any children? None. None living. We had our daughter passed away when she was born. We have an angel baby, but we are trying for more. I am 1 in 8. We are going through fertility treatments. One of the reasons I do not work is because they are so difficult, and it is hard to take time off. So it's just easier to stay at home and deal with the consequences that come from always pumping your body full of that thing. I am, if I have not already changed it, my name is going to be Stitch Adventure because I feel like every day is an adventure. You never know what's gonna come up, but you always have your stitching. And so have your stitching ready to take on your adventure. And that's how I'm trying to live my life. Do I have any pets? Yes, I have 2 fur babies, my 2 little chihuahuas. They're both pound puppies. I love pound puppies. I actually volunteered at my local humane society. One thing I love about Reno is it is a no-kill county. The Washoe County is a no-kill county. So all animals that are brought into the shelter, they will not be killed for space. If there is an animal brought in, it is kept alive, unless it is dying from a disease already. It is aggressive to a point that it can't be retrained. Reasons that an owner might put it down, a good owner might put a dog down or their pet down. But for space reasons, for money reasons, an animal is never put down for that. So volunteering at this shelter, I never felt like, oh my God, I need to take this animal home, or it's never going to be, loved. It's never going to be taken care of. We have people come in and walk the dogs every day. That's one of the volunteer duties, is you take the dogs out of the shelter and go for a walk up and down the streets and do that. They have hiking buddies. It's a really good. They have cat rooms. You can come in and play with the cats all you want, which I did sometimes because we just can't have a cat right now. So it was nice. Sometimes I'd go in and play with the cats and just have a cat day. So it was really nice to do it. And I played with the bunnies, but bunnies terrify me because if you hold them wrong, you can break their backs. And I was like, I do not want to be responsible for breaking a bunny's back. But so yeah, adopt, don't shop. That's how I feel. My one right here, my Stitchy buddy, my Bea. She's who my husband calls my little tumor because she is always by my side. She loves to be next to humans, especially females, especially me. But yeah, and if you want to know the most comfortable spot in a place, look where she's sitting, because that's gonna be the most comfortable spot. Um, the other puppy I have is Luke. Yes, my dogs are Luke and Leia. Um, and right now, he's laying on daddy's feet. He has a foot fetish. It's very weird. If your feet are out, he will be laying on them, rolling over them. It is the weirdest little thing ever, and it cracks us up to no end. Um, but that's where he lays. Leia lays on my lap. Luke lays under my husband's desk by his feet. Um, and at this time, they're not going to move for anything. Unless a pickle. Luke loves pickles. He's such a weird dog. I adore him. Those are my fur babies. I would have a whole menagerie. I would love to just lay on the ground and be bowled over by dogs. But my husband says no, we can't do that. What are my other hobbies besides stitching? Video games. I am a gamer. I love playing video games. Haven't been playing recently. Been too busy stitching. Last game I finished was Mass Effect Andromeda. Don't get me. If you know the Mass Effect universe, if you know that game, don't get me started. Game before that, Horizon New Dawn. That was amazing. I'm a PlayStation 4 girl. I love PlayStation 4 games. I have all the other consoles. I have played games on them. I play most new games. I do not play multiplayer games. I know about them. In fact, my husband is a giant WoW player. He is in 2 different guilds. He's the head of one of his guilds. He raids 3 nights a week. In fact, he got my dad playing WoW, and him and my dad play in raids together. And sometimes we say that he's my dad's favorite child. And we're not sure it's a joke. Which is sad. I used to be his favorite, which was God's honest truth. I was his favorite. Now I married his favorite. In fact, when my husband told my dad that he asked me to marry him, my dad said, "What'd you do that for?" My husband was like, "'Cause I love her." We don't know if my dad was joking or not. He's a weird man. I read. I read. I don't read anymore. I don't. I'm too busy cross stitching. I don't listen to books on tape because I'm too busy watching Floss Tube. I get into cooking phases where I love cooking and trying out new recipes. Not in one of those right now. It just depends. I've tried crochet. I'm not good at it. I keep trying and I keep trying, and I'm not good at it. I'm not good at sewing. I've tried that. I'm not. Maybe I just haven't put in enough practice. I like cross stitch, and that's good enough for me. What is my favorite movie? Lord only knows. When I was in my 20s, it was Moulin Rouge, because, oh my god, who doesn't love that movie? I'm sure there are people, but they're wrong. I love superhero movies. I love movies that make me happy. I don't like super serious movies. I don't know. I'm just not in the mood for them at any point. So I don't really have a favorite. I love Hocus Pocus. I watch it every year on Halloween along with Shaun of the Dead. And I watch Muppets Christmas Carol every Christmas all the time. I love it. So maybe those are my favorite movies. Let's see, favorite TV show. I don't really have a favorite TV show right now. I used to watch a bunch. Like, I would watch all the TV all the time. But right now I'm kind of lagging behind. I really liked Lucifer. Code Black is one that I really like. The Goldbergs makes me laugh because the mom on the Goldbergs is my mom, and the dad is basically the Goldbergs is my family. That's just, there's no way around it. The Goldbergs is my family, which I'm sure everyone seems like, but no. Like, my mom gets upset because she sees herself in the mom. It's, yeah. Um, so the Goldbergs always makes me laugh. When I used to watch Supernatural, I watched Supernatural religiously until I got my husband hooked on it. And my husband is notorious for not wanting to watch shows when they're on, so we fell behind. And then we couldn't watch them online. And then it was like, oh, we have to wait till it's on DVD. And then it's now we're 3 seasons behind. So, so that's how that happened. Favorite book? Oh God, that's like favorite child. What limb is my favorite? I don't know. My left pinky. How am I supposed to choose? I have a favorite genre. Fantasy sci-fi. Way more towards the fantasy than the sci-fi. Although there are some very good sci-fi books out there. The Wheel of Time series. I've heard a couple of different Floss Tubers mention that recently. I have not read the whole series 3 times. I would read the series every time a new book came out. I would reread the series. So I've read the first one like 12 times. But the last one I've only read once. So it's I've not read the whole thing that many times. The Harry Potter series, the same thing. I've read the first one quite a few times. But I still know it quite well. I love historical romance, especially the naughty ones. It's where I get. It's my only time I get naughty. Outlander, like Outlander naughty. Outlander's a good combination of historical naughty romance and fantasy. Oh God, the Scottish accent. Oh. Um, I started out young reading Nancy Drew, and then moved on to R.L. Stein, Goosebumps. Then I found Tolkien, who, oh my God, so wordy. So I heard that people would want to go on walks with Tolkien because Tolkien would actually start describing things in real life the way he would write them, and people would get so bored going on walks with him that they wouldn't go on walks with him, which sounds completely true. I have no idea, but it sounds so true. And then from Tolkien, I went on to Piers Anthony, which, if anyone knows Piers Anthony, knows that they're very opposite ends. In his Xanth novels, and then his Incarnations of Immortality, which is a very good series, one of my favorites when I was in high school. Starts with On a Pale Horse, which is about the incarnation of death, which is I love it, one of my favorites. But you show me a good book and probably read it, give it a go. My aunt was telling me that there's a book series about a mystery series about a lady who works in a cross stitch shop. And I was all, you best give me the title of those because I'll give them a read. Even if it's when I'm in the bathroom. My dad called it the library. But yeah, I love a good mystery. Usually I see it coming. I do love Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, a good story is all I need. Something to keep me interested. And the good guy needs to win. The bad guy needs to get his comeuppance. If anyone knows what that's from, props. Favorite music. It just depends. I mean, basically, if it has a good musicality to it, if it has a good beat, if I like it, if the words, if the story the song is telling affects me, then I like it. If it's about drugs or hoes or, you know, getting drunk, it's not gonna mean anything to me. I don't drink. The last time I had a drink was probably 7 years ago. Not because I needed to stop drinking. I just don't care to drink. I've never started smoking, mainly because my dad's a smoker and that never looked fun to me. I'm a goody two shoes. I think it was Vindy Stitches talking about her family has addictive personalities. So does mine. And so I just decided not to try things that I don't need to get addicted to. And so yeah, so I just never tried them. I guess my only addiction would be cross stitch and fatty food. If you couldn't tell. It's the webcam. It adds 10 pounds to the face and the arms. Leia, figure out what you're doing. Oh, that's your problem. You can't get off the chair. Alright, you can get off now. You're free. Run away, run away. So yeah, I had songs about drinking and smoking and never liked to party. I've always been a stay home and cuddle up with a book or something else to do type of girl. So I like when I lived in the dorms, my friends would come to my place and I'd cook them dinner. I didn't need to go out. So yeah, so music, if it means something to me, if I listen to the words and I like what it says, then I like the song. I listened to a lot of country when I was in high school, mainly because I lived in a farming town, so that's what was around, was country music. I grew up on 40s and 50s music, well, 50s and 60s, and I love 40s music. So yeah, also musicals. My mom loves musicals. You put on a musical, my whole family will start singing. We were testing this. We just went on a family trip to Europe, and you say a sentence, and if it's related to a musical at all, one of us is going to start singing. It's embarrassing, but awesome. I was the only child who did not do theater in high school. My brother actually tours with a theater company doing stage lighting and theater work. He's with the tour. He's with the play Funhouse right now. He's in Philadelphia. But yeah, so we're a very artsy, fartsy type family. Except for me, I'm not. I did not get that ability. What one word best describes me? Shy. I wish it were funny. My friends might say kind. My husband would say silly. He loves to call me a silly goose. My mom would be like, bestest, most beautiful girl in the world, but she's a little biased, so we'll go with hers. No, it's shy, probably. I'm really shy until I get to know a person. Although I do not like silences, so I usually will start talking a lot just to cover them up, which I did on my first date with my husband, and he absolutely loved because he hates talking. And he said he was like, I'm never going to have to talk again. This is awesome. So that finishes up the Know Your Needleworker tag. Holy crud, 24 minutes? I'm a talker. I spent all day shopping. Well, I went to Goodwill and I went to Joann's because Joann's was having a sale. I didn't get a whole lot at Joann's. Um, but I did get a lot at Goodwill today. They were having a good sale. Um, but before I get there, let me show you some of my finishes that I have next to me. I'll have another one. I'll do in my next video. I'll post pictures that I've taken of my other finishes, um, because they're either hanging up on walls around my house or not with me. I actually have gifted a lot of my cross stitches, and I don't have pictures of those. But I'm going to my mom's in a couple weeks, and I'm going to try and take pictures. She has the very first cross stitch that I stitched. Well, not the very first one, but like the second one, and then like the big, like the one I stitched by myself. So this is the latest one I finished, Nevermore. I stitched this on the plain home. I stitched the bird. I didn't get Nevermore in, but I stitched the bird and the 31 in on my plain home from London last month. Actually stitched it, realized I'd stitched it in the wrong spot, had to pick it out and restitch it. Hence why all I got done was the bird on an 11-hour flight. But then I had an old lady who had no idea what I was doing, a row behind me, and so I had to stop and tell her what I was doing and tell her all about cross stitch. She was quite impressed. And then there's this one. None of these I have. These are all, you know, FOs. They're not FFOs. Those are hung up on the wall. Marion Bright did this one. You can still see my hoop marks, my oval marks. Straight in the middle. I tried to change the camera so it would mirror, but my camera is not letting me. Rude. I stitched this for my fertility clinic to give to them. This is a work in progress. I have to finish and give to my mom at Christmas. She's a giant Hoovian. Sorry about the crazy focusing of the camera. This is like my first time doing anything like this. Oop. This is the one that I did. It's a Peter Pan one. I love Peter Pan. That is this one. Nobody talk about any mistakes. Usually mistakes are just personalizations. That's what they are. There's no mistakes. Only happy little trees. Some of these need a good washing. Good thing I found out you can wash your cross stitch, because I did not know that. And there's this one. Holy moly, the orange on this one. I thought I might die. And then this one. And they're supposed to be like white all behind. Oh, geez, Louise, sorry, people. White behind all of them, stitched in, and then black underneath them. And I just was like, nope. Got bored of that. That was just a fun little stitch. You see my back? Very little carried thread, mainly because it was a white. try to stitch a neat back. Makes me feel special, but usually I'll just get lazy and I just start carrying threads. Alright, that's all of my FOs, my partly FOs, my whatchamacallits. My works in progress that I'm working on now are, I'm doing the Stitch Rovia. I'm 2 months behind. I'm just doing it on plain white, and I don't even remember the count because I didn't even think about doing a floss tube and having to know things like that before then. I didn't do the pink on this one because it was just too much pink. I'm not a big pink girl. So hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. But oh well. I love this. Have patience with all things, most of all yourself. I need to remember that about myself. I need to remember that for myself in my life quite often. So there's that. I'm also, the other one I'm doing is the Mario Stitch Along. This is the fabric for it. All I have done is Mario so far. I'm so behind on it. But if this thing's going to be huge, I wanted to do all 12 squares. Do you see how big this fabric is? It's ginormous. It's going to be the size of a blanket. It's alright. I love it. I brought the Little House Needleworks One More Stitch to do on my trip with me when we went to Europe. And I had this fabric and I loved it. I thought it was going to be great. And I started doing the stitching. And it's not so bad there, but in real life, it's like you can barely see those stitches. They're the same exact color of the fabric. And I was like, well, that's not gonna work. So I need to pick those out and find a new fabric. But that's I'm gonna stitch with the Classic Colorworks because I got the kit with the thread. Everything else is in DMC because I have a whole kit of DMC. I bought my last floss that I needed today to have the whole kit. And then next I want to do Stitching Time by Country Cottage Needleworks. Have that all kitted up with DMC to do next. I think it's super cute. That's my next on my list to do. Back in here. And the one I am Hermione Needle Minder from Focus on Her. Delicious Threads, whose floss tube I love to watch. This one is a stitch along that I'm doing from KLT Charts. It's or KLT. It's a stitch along. It's a UK company. They're doing it. They put out a different heart each month. The last one just got released. I am 2 hearts behind. And then all the outsides are done with Ship's Manor. I forget what month. And the insides are all done with different Moe's sail floss. I'm just having so much fun. My first time really using that much over dyed to doing the X's. Although I ran out of the Ship's Manor, so now I'm having to do the last 2 hearts in Moe's floss. But oh well, we'll make do. It's just a fun little stitch that I'm doing up. I'm just gonna finish the last 2 stitches and the last 2 hearts and be done with this one. And who the heck knows? It'll probably go in the bag with the other ones that aren't finished. So those are my whips that I have going on. I have a ginormous stash because I like to buy all the things. It's ginormous for me, considering I haven't really started buying until this year. My Ort jar with my scissor fobs from Mo Sales. It's so cute, little fairy. You know what? I'm not a middle starter. I'm a corner starter. This right here, I love it. It is a stitch starter. You put it in the corner of your fabric, find out how big you want your corner to be, how big you want your border to be. Oh, I want a 3-inch border. That's where I start on my pattern. So it's easy to mark off, because I messed up so many times on different patterns doing that. So finally having something to help me start is amazing, and I am in love with it. So this is my box. That's all I'm not gonna go through all my fabrics, but this is my box of special hand dyes, and I get them from Ships Manor. I get the Ships Manor monthly, Color Cascades monthly. I got a couple of Chromatic Alchemies in here. I get Fiberlicious monthly fabrics, and just stash and load and things like that. And nobody see how much fabric costs. My husband doesn't need to know. No, he knows. He cares. Fabrics by LJ. Nice fabrics. Fun fabrics everywhere. Hold on. Sorry about that. My dogs needed out, and you guys didn't need to see my butt as I walked by the camera. I have some other things. I have cones of black and white, because you're always going to need black and white. There's just, it's not like it's a waste. And they were half off on Joann's.com a couple weeks ago, so I just did it. These are my synchronic and my silks. Most of my stuff I got Stitchy Box before I found out even about Stitch Mania or things like that. That's actually how I found out about most things Stitchy that I never even knew about. Stitchy Box started me down a long dark hole of things I love. Other con things. For my specialty threads, I'm using Floss Away bags, because I don't have that many right now. I say that. This is my bag of Mo's Sale floss. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but for my DMC, I do have them on bobbins. I do wind them on bobbins. Some are on paper, some are on plastic. I used the paper because at the time, what I used. Now I am using the plastic. So as the paper runs out, I just add it to a plastic bobbin. And I have it in the 2-sided one. So I have like 3 cases of not being used of what I was using before I transferred to this. I have some stitch bags, like craft bags, to hold my stitching in. The only one that was specifically made was the stitching one I used earlier. I don't know if I showed it, but now it's buried under a ton of stuff, so you can't see it. I got this one at the Disney store in Dublin. It's a laptop bag, I think, but whatever, it's getting used for stitchy stuff. And then this one I made from Vonna Pfeiffer's tutorial, the Twisted Stitcher. I didn't use the measurements, and this thing's enormous. I should have followed the measurements. I thought, I want a bigger one, and I shouldn't have done it, but it's very nice. It's just so big. I could fit my dog in this thing. My husband just said I could fit both of them in here. What? You want back up here? Hold, please. All right, sorry. So the last thing I'll show today is what I picked up at the Goodwill store, mainly because Joann's the only thing I got were World of Cross Stitching magazines. I don't even know which one's the new one yet. They hadn't have either of these, so I picked them both up. Everything else I got was just clearance items that looked cute and had nothing to do with cross stitch. First I got the Complete Guide to Needlework. I mean, come on. I don't know how old this thing is, but it'll have useful information no matter what. It's not like it's going to change. 1979. 7th printing, September 1983. 83, the year I was born. I am 34, I think. But yeah, it's not like they're going to be like, this is not how you knit anymore, or whatever. So I figured it still would have useful information, and every needle worker needs to have a needlework book. And it was $2. And I got this. Because you can always use a motif or two. Also picked this one up. Somebody got rid of their cross stitch books. There was a carousel horse one. I didn't care for any of the carousel horses, so I figured I'd let somebody else pick it up. Okay, this was my favorite find. Fantasy cross stitch. Okay. I love it, right? I love it. I marked a couple of things to show you guys in here. One, I'm an Aquarius, so I want to stitch Aquarius. How awesome is it that this Aquarius is not white? Although, because if I stitched it, it would be for me. I might have, geez Louise, I really need to figure out this camera thing. I might do a color change. Not sure yet. I might not ever stitch it, but we'll never know. Because I might be too busy stitching these awesome things. I mean, who doesn't want those hanging on their walls? I want Viking boobs. I took a DNA test, and apparently I'm very Scandinavian, which was a surprise to my mother. And I picked up some Ada black and white. I don't mind stitching on black. I'm not having a problem with it. Maybe it's my super eyes. Don't tell anybody. I got this. It was 49 cents. It's just, they're like cut up in there like ornament size. It's like some Charles Craft fabric. So, it'll work. 49 cents. I got this full of floss I don't know about. Floss and needles. I don't even know. These needles aren't, these are giant needles. But it's a bunch of shiny, shiny floss, metallic floss, and plastic bobbins. So, hey. Not bad, not bad. And then I picked up this Color with Stitches stamped out blocks. I haven't even looked at it yet. So, who knows? Maybe one day. Hopefully. Cross our fingers, everybody. Believe me, when I start, we're taking a short break right now. But when I get back on trying, you will know, because I'll probably cry. And then there was this. I don't even know what it is, but it's Hirschner's Incorporated, and there's X's on stuff. So I just got it. It was like $2, and I said, meh, I'll buy it. I bought this bunch of hoops. There's some Krennic in there, blending filament, some knitting stuff too. I'm only saying that because Calco Knit is in there. I don't know. You can always use hoops and Krennic for $2. So that's really what I got there. I also got some stuff for crocheting for my aunt because apparently someone destashed their crochet stuff. I could have spent $100 at Goodwill on crochet stuff. But I think that will be it for today. If there's any interest, I will show my patterns and other things that I've collected in another video. You know, leave me nice comments, maybe some constructive comments. Like I said, this is my first time. I know I've been a little fidgety. I never realized how fidgety I was, but I'm not doing this. This is actually like my second time, so filming this video. And I'm really gonna try to learn how to look at the camera. Maybe I'm just gonna tape it to the middle of my computer screen, just so I stare there. And yeah, I have a hard time looking people in the face too. That's why I don't talk to people very often. This just got personal. Alright. I love you, Floss Tube. I am addicted to watching you. And be nice. My mom's going to watch this stuff because she already said she will. And she found out I was going to be recording a video. And she will hunt it down, even if I never tell her. She will sniff it out and hunt it down and watch it. And you don't want my mama's wrath. She will guilt you like nobody's business. She's good at it too. So be nice to me. I'm a nice. And I will see you again. And should show you my finish of my hearts and what I'm working on next. All right.